Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how to find the area of a trapezoid. So in a trapezoid, your area will always be determined by simply doing the sum of your bases times the height divided by 2. Okay, and I just want to let you know that your bases are always going to be the ones parallel to each other, so that just by looking at the picture you should be able to tell which ones are your bases. For example, here on this first problem that I have, just by looking at the picture, these two are parallel. Those are my bases. So for B1 and B2, that's what I'm going to add. Now the height is the distance between them, but it's the perpendicular distance between them. Okay, that's why the 8, we're not going to use it, but the 6 we will. The 6 is the perpendicular height. So same thing like in the triangle and the parallelogram. If you find the 90 and you just kind of connect the two segments that create the 90, you're gonna know what your height is and your base. So my height is 6, and I just divide that by 2, and it's just a matter of just putting it in your calculator. So it's going to be 10 plus 16, which is 26, right? Then 26 times 6, and we have to divide that by 2. So my area for this trapezoid is 78. It's that easy. All right, the one below it, same concept. Again, you see that 90. You find the two segments that create it. They are gonna help you identify the base and the height. So here we know that the height is 5 and the base is 4, and 6 is parallel to 4, so there you go. There is your other base. So this is gonna be 4 plus 6 times 5 divided by 2. So that's 10 times 5, which is 50, right? And 50 divided by 2 is 25. So the area here is 25. Okay. Have some few other examples where still we're being asked to find the area. So for example here, again, we find the 90. So this is a base, this is a height, this is your other base. So we know it's going to be 30 plus 26 times your height, but right now we don't know it, and we're going to divide it by 2. So we have to find our height. Now here you have to do little problem solving. Notice how all of this is 30, but this is 26. So 30 minus 26 is 4. So I'm going to work with this triangle right here. This imaginary line that I just drew, it's parallel to my height, and it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to work with this right triangle. I know this is 4, I know this is 5. Pythagorean theorem. 5 squared minus 4 squared. And that's going to give me 3 in this case. So this is 3, which means this is 3. This is what goes up here. So now I just get my calculator. 30 plus 26, that's 56. I have to multiply that by 3 and divide by 2. So the area of my trapezoid here is 84. Just like that. Let's look at the one right below it. We're going to do something very similar how we got the 4. Right, so below it, we have another trapezoid. This time though, we don't see any 90-degree, but it should be obvious that that is your base. And this is your other base. When they don't give you your height like that, you put it in yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my own height here. It doesn't matter whether you draw it here or you draw it here. By the way, it's an isosceles trapezoid, tick marks 12, 12. Now notice the shape that got created here. If that's 10, this has to be 10 as well, because it created a rectangle of some kind. And if it's an isosceles trapezoid, these two pieces should be the same. So this plus this should give me 6, and they're both the same, so it should be a 3. This should be 3, this should be 3. So again, doesn't matter what triangle you look at. This is 12, this is 3, and we're looking for the height. So Pythagorean theorem again. 12 squared minus 3 squared. For this one, I know I'm going to get a decimal of some kind, so I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. So here, 12 squared minus 3 squared. And I get 11.6. So my height is 11.6. So now I know everything I need to know for this problem. My area is going to be my two bases added together times my height, which we just found, divided by 2. So again, once you know your bases and your height, you're set on these problems. So 10 plus 16 is 26 times 11.6 divided by 2. So that's 150.8. That's what my area is. That's simple, guys. That's simple. All right, and one more where it's going to be one with an angle given. At any point, obviously, you need to be able to go backwards. If I give you area, you need to be able to manipulate to solve for any unknowns. So in this problem right here, very similar to the other one, we're going to go ahead and draw our own little heights. We automatically know that since this is 12, this is 12. 20 minus 12 is 8, which means this has to be 4. And then this is 4. And again, this was 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. So we just work on this triangle right here. Again, I know the angle here is 70 degrees. This side is 4. And I'm looking for my height. We could either do a SOHCAHTOA or law of sines. If that's 70 and that's 90, this has to be 20. And so I'm just going to do law of sines. 4 goes to the 20, so 4 and the sine of 20. And h goes to the 70, so sine of 70. Again, if you have questions as to how I set that up, just go look at the law of sines video. So when I substitute and I cross multiply and all that good stuff here, it's 4 times the sine of 70. And then basically then I have to divide it by the sine of 20. So my height is 10.98. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it's 11. And again, formula, it's just using it now. Area is my bases added together times my height divided by 2. So 12 plus 20, that times 11 and divided by 2. And so the area of this trapezoid is 176. Okay, and I guess I'm going to do one quick example on what if you have to go backwards. So let's say you had a trapezoid of some kind, and you knew, like they already told you, hey, the area is 100. Okay, and they told you that the height was 3 and this base right here was 10, and you had to find the other base. Well, it's all about the setup. So normally area is b1 plus b2 times the height divided by 2. So just plug in everything you know. So it becomes 100 is equal to 10 plus b2, which is your x, times 3 divided by 2. Again, at that point it's just algebra, guys. So I would multiply both sides by 2. So that makes this 200 is equal to 10 plus x. I would just divide everything by 3 since that's what the 3 is doing. And I would go ahead and convert that to decimal. So this becomes 66.67. And then I would just move the 10 to the other side. So then I would know that my other base is 56.67. And you could always check your work by plugging it in. So I would have done 56.67 plus 10. And I was to multiply that by 3 and then divide it by 2. I get my area of 100. Okay, so again, be able to manipulate. That's pretty much it, right? Area of a trapezoid, guys. Not too bad.